Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value, and sometimes I go through the comment section and answer them and give you guys my opinion. Someone says, "Hi Andy, I have a question. With oil prices going higher, do you think buying an electric car would be good to do before we get to that point?" Um, so I did a calculation, and for me to buy an electric car, I already have existing cars, so I'm not going to buy anything. I'm a guy that rags out every car that I can as far as I can, and I can work on them. So I'm pretty good at fixing stuff. So the break even point for me is $6 or $7 a gallon. I've already done the calculations. So if it gets up above $7, $8, $9, $10 a gallon, if it were to go that high, I don't know if it will. That's where I would buy an electric vehicle. If I had to buy another vehicle, and that's where it gets tough. What do you need the vehicle to do? If the vehicle is a short range vehicle, then maybe an electric vehicle is better. If it's something where you're going to do long distance trips, then I'm kind of torn there because the inconvenience of the electric vehicle would be pretty bad. But if oil gets up to a certain price, then the inconvenience is necessary basically to travel because, I mean, that's the only affordable way to travel then. So we'll see what happens. I don't have an answer for you that's going to be that great, but I would have both. That's me. That's where I'm at right now. Um, let's see what we got here. Lots of awesome comments, and thank you for all the comments. It says, Andy, I believe you're right about the future of the gold price. Too many people want it to pop today or tomorrow. That's too bad for them because nothing happens in the stock market when we want it to. I've heard you say many times that gold and silver lag the market when inflation is about to make an appearance in the future. Yeah, so what happens is the M2 money supply expands, and it's closely correlated to the expansion phase of real estate. At least history is. Now they're printing money and doing all this stuff and throwing money all over the place. But when the M2 money supply goes up, inflation's lagged by like a year or two, somewhere in that range. Then it starts getting into your inflation numbers. People start getting a little more worried, and then they start directing money based on however they want to direct it. And that's when I think gold and silver is going to do a very good move. Again, I'm still a big precious metal physical type guy. The mining companies, I do own mining companies. I just don't. Having seen the last bull market, they didn't really go up a lot at the end of that bull market. But the valuations are so cheap right now on gold and silver that of the mining companies that I could see why someone would be enticed to go into them. I do own some through some mutual funds, but I also like the royalty companies because I want to get rid of that input cost. And I'm over time, guys. Like I'm a huge bull on energy, and I think energy is going to get more expensive. When I look at energy, just in general, I look at how much energy is costing for all this renewable stuff. So all the ones that put a whole bunch of renewable in, it seems like their electricity costs have gone up, not down. And over time, we're using this stuff like mad. And I think that, we're going to run into some constraints with fossil fuels at some point. I don't know when that point is, but I think over time it will get more expensive. I know that people think that solar is going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and it has, and we're at 100-year low of commodity prices. What if the commodity prices go and they become expensive over the next 10 or 15 years? And that's basically what I'm predicting. What's the cost of solar at that point then? And what if oil becomes scarce? I mean, mining is nothing more than everyone that's in society, and you have metals that are in the earth, and earth is between you and the metals. The only thing that's going to change that difference between the earth being between you two is energy. And we've mechanized all of this stuff using fossil fuels to get all of these things out of the ground. Can we do that in a far more complex world with solar panels and batteries and all this stuff? I mean, if you look at all that, that's all stuff that is stuck between us and the earth right now. There's a bunch of minerals in the ground in order to make solar panels and batteries and cars and electric vehicles and electric motors. There's a lot of those things that are between us. And it's a lot more, I would say, complex world with all that stuff. It's going to require a lot more copper and wires and lines and stuff running all over the place. And to me, being an engineer, I look at complexity as a problem, not as a solution. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I think energy prices overall are going to go up with time, not down. And if that's the case, that means all metals are going to go up too, I think. There's a lot of discussion about Rick Rule and some other stuff in here. I'm not going to say anything there. It says, could you show more charts or mention what all royalties and oil companies you are buying or think are of good value? I like RECAF, RECAF, SM Energy, and CDEV, CDEV. Those are the ones that I like. You guys can do your own due diligence. Yeah, the channel is pretty raw. I do have kids. I have 2 3-year-olds, 1 7-year-old. I am married. So, yeah, those guys are running all around, causing a lot of noise, and sometimes I have to re-record. So usually I'm stuck doing this stuff either late at night or really early in the morning before they wake up, or when they're asleep at night. So, yep. Now here's one. Thanks, Andy. A few ads. Current platinum to palladium ratio is 0.43. The 40-year average is 4.2. So platinum would have to 6x just to get to the average. Keep in mind, though, that what I think is going to happen is platinum's going to go up, palladium's going to go down to make that ratio more towards the average over time. And I think it will go to an extreme at some point, but I don't know when that point is. Extreme where platinum gets expensive and palladium gets a little, cheap. 80% of platinum is mined in SA and Russia. Yep. Only 1 week of industrial stockpiles now. Only 1 week. Is that true? I mean, I haven't been able to find inventory levels, but that is incredibly low if that is true. Platinum replacing palladium going forward in the auto industry. Yeah, we've talked about that on the channel a lot. Also, we could talk green hydrogen. Yeah, hydrogen they use them in fuel cells for platinum and fuel cells. So yeah, I agree. Platinum to me. So I know a lot of people that they're pretty big on silver, and I like silver as well. But here's something that you may want to think of. Platinum is really rare. I'm talking ultra rare in comparison to silver and some of these other precious metals. There's like no inventory of it. So when the price starts to move up, and it's mainly an industrial metal, and demand is going to kick up, I mean, there's nothing really there to absorb the price movement. It's going to go way up. It's like rhodium and palladium. Once you get into low inventory, it just starts moving higher. Now, silver is a lot different than platinum. There's a whole bunch of inventory of silver. I own a whole bunch of it. A lot of people own a whole bunch of it. I see a lot of people buying it. There's a lot of old silverware. It's in a whole bunch of different currencies, old currencies like junk silver. But there's a lot of silver out there. And when price starts to move, that is a resistance to the move. Platinum doesn't have that. Platinum is an incredible metal, and it can. I think there's a really good store of value in it. Silver has a bunch of value. It's the second most used commodity in this world. But platinum, since it has such a energy, has such a high melting point that they didn't know what to do with it back in the day, and we're finding all these new uses for it. So I think that's a star metal because we're finding more uses for it. It is incredibly rare, and it's really found in only a couple places in the world, and they're starting to deplete. The production profile in 2006 has peaked and is starting to decline for South Africa, and which is 80% of production. And if this stuff peaks and we find all these good uses for it, that sounds like a pretty good scenario for platinum to go way higher. They can recycle it out of catalytic converters, but I can remember when platinum was up around 1900, 2000 bucks in the mid 2000s, late 2000s, and I always wanted to own a whole bunch of it. So I had my chance. I bought a whole bunch in the 600, well, I should say the 700s and 800s is where I bought a bunch. And I'm holding on. I'll buy more here, don't worry. But I think platinum, physical platinum, I'm not so keen on the companies themselves. And the reason I'm not so keen on them is I don't like necessarily where they're located, and they're depleting it. Their production's going to go down. So I don't. I mean, they're going to make more money. I get it, but I don't know. I just see the physical platinum is like I have a huge draw to that. Probably more to platinum than I do to silver. But I do like silver. I own quite a bit. But platinum, I agree, man. I really like platinum. So it's weird how I've forgotten to look at the rest of the stock market, which is taking a bit of a bath this last week. Or so Willist you are has just uranium has just ignored the rest of the world. Unbelievable, but good. Once the general market turns higher, it's going to be fun for a punt, and in light of a rising tide floats all boats. I took a small position in Forum Metals, which broke out a few hours after. Doubt it was okay. Yeah, the overall market's been pretty weak. So commodity sector's been holding pretty strong in comparison to the overall market. So I agree there. Just looking here, coming on down. A lot of people talking about uranium, obviously. I think Andy's family pulled him off video to get him to buy more uranium ASAP. It's probably true, actually. So I bought some Sprott physical trust units today on the pullback. I think that's really good. Buying a physical thing like that is a very low risk way to play it. So good move. Like the natural gas price explosion was very visible. Yeah, natural gas is killing it. Did Libya and Iraq really want to buy oil and gold? If that's true, yeah. Oh, and yeah, I have 10,000 subscribers, and guys, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Really appreciate it. The channel's been open for a little bit long, well, about 1 year. It's been 1 year. I opened it like the last day in August of 2020. And I can tell you this, the subscribers grow rapidly when commodities are in favor, and when they're down, the channel slows way down. I can tell you that. So if we have a huge commodity boom, you'll see subscribers probably picking up left and right, wanting to hear about commodities. And as the pace continues to pile in, pick up, you're probably in a big commodity boom. So right now, I'm getting a lot of uranium guys on the channel, and thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all of your guys' comments. Let's make this a fun place, and let's make some money. Why not? I mean, that's why I started the channel, and get you guys to hold on. It said, had to leave another comment. You nailed it right on the head with herd mentality of the cough. As soon as you said that, it's as though I see the herd you talk about in the charts. The world is full of sheep. Look out of the field. It says, in order for Michael Burry to make money in shorting bonds, he needs to be right in direction, time, and magnitude. He's taking on too much risk. I totally agree with that. There's no way I would try to do some of the moves that Michael Burry does. So yeah, you say you like platinum, but I haven't seen you mention any platinum stocks. Do you know any good platinum stocks? Yeah, I have done. He's done a ton of videos on it, but I prefer physical metal. It's the lowest risk way. I know this is going to do well, and a lot of the companies are located in South Africa. Russia is not too bad. Norilsk Nickel, NILSY, if you like it. But yeah, uh, coming on down, looking at, yeah, there's some other stuff there talking about solar. I don't know if I'd really. So still looking, a lot of good comments here. I hate to admit being a trader. Hopefully I didn't get shaken out by the bull. Sold 60% of my uranium today. I couldn't stand what seemed to be an intraday head and shoulder in the miners after this huge run up. I just hold on. If it goes the way that I view things, and maybe this is for right, wrong, or indifferent. When the value is really cheap, and let's say I go up 1,000% in something, is that really going to change my life? I mean, in all honesty, let's say I put like 10 grand in something, and let's say it goes to $100,000. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to like belittle if someone doesn't have this amount. That's not how I'm trying to come off. But $100,000 in my life isn't necessarily going to change my life. And having a bunch more money it's probably not going to change my life at all. Once you get to a certain point, you kind of look at it and you're like, well, the only thing that's really going to change my life right now is not having to work at all. If I work, I'm going to live in the same house. And if I don't work, I'm probably going to live in the same house. I'm probably going to drive roughly the same cars. And even if you drive a really expensive car, who cares? I mean, it's just an A to B mode of transportation. So I look at this like, I'm going to ride it. Like, if I get cut in half, my life's not going to change. I'm not leveraged up. I don't have any debt. Well, I do have some debt, the house, but there's a lot of stuff that I've basically, I'm not leveraged up. I don't have debt. I don't have all this stuff. I don't have all these payments or anything like that. I'm pretty free to do whatever. And I've got a lot in physical precious metals and other things that one of these things I think will take off at some point. So says Andy, are you buying platinum now? I might buy some more platinum. Yes. I'm looking at it. It's pretty low. I don't know how much low. It may go a little bit lower. And I'm looking right now. I haven't bought yet. I'm still holding on, but I'm getting close. I'm getting close. Do you have any thoughts on oil or natural gas ETFs? XLE and OIH are two ETFs. I know you've shown OIH, which I have. I also have some XLE and TAN for energy. Any other oil-related ones? I don't know of any other ones. I guess XOP, this guy recommends. I'd look into that one. Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm going to... Well, hey, I got a feeling silver's going to $16 to $18. What do you think? After that, we're going to see a big bull run. You guys, it could go down. It very well could. But it could also go up. I'm seeing some strength in it, but we got to see if this downtrend line holds. If it doesn't, then yeah, it could come back quite a bit. But again, I look at this stuff like I'm not afraid to see a down position in my account. I just buy more of it. I for some reason I have like so much confidence in the thesis that it's going to have to somehow play out at some point because of the structural deficit in the real estate market, that I think it's going to have to be inflationary, because I've never seen a period in history where real estate went up and we had deflation or a problem in the market. So if we're structurally underbuilt by 4 million homes, and we have to build all these homes eventually at some point, and I can buy this stuff at super cheap valuations, I don't know why I wouldn't do it. I mean, put in the comments section why you guys wouldn't buy this stuff. Like, give me, if there's a reason. So I'm like this ultra bull on platinum. Platinum's a huge one, guys. I love physical platinum. It's a great investment. It doesn't take up too much room. You can buy a bunch of it, and I mean, it's ultra rare. I mean, when energy's cheap, like it is today, if energy gets more expensive, all these metals are going to get more expensive. And the things that are going to be worth the most are the things that are in your hands, because between you and that metal is earth, and it's declining ore grade, which means that there's less and less of it per all this earth that you have to pick up. And I don't know if artificial intelligence is going to help you, because you still have to get the earth and move it somehow and then get it. And platinum is one of the most energy intensive processes to get. Not just to get, to refine, the whole 9 yards. And nobody has it. Nobody owns this stuff. And the inventories are teeny. I mean, if anybody wanted to corner this market, they could. It's easy as heck. So I just see that as a huge opportunity. I'm like an ultra platinum bull, ultra oil bull, ultra uranium bull. I mean, I just look at this stuff 10, 15, 20 years out, and it's like, man, these are going to go way higher. They have to. But you know what? I could be wrong. It's not a for sure thing. And that's just me willing to put my money there. I'm going to stop it there, guys. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Keep putting questions below. I like to see your questions. And thanks for listening. This is Finding Value.